In this video we're going to test and compare two excavator mounted hydraulic flails, specifically these two attachments, the Cangini TC1 and the Slanetrac FH80. Now, while both of these attachments are designed to carry out the same work, how they do that is by two different methods. The Cangini is a more traditional spinning drum with a swinging hammer setup, whilst the Slanetrac is a flat deck mulcher with a spinning blade, a bit similar to you might see on the back of a little compact tractor. We're going to be testing the smallest model of each of these flails, the Cangini TC1-60 and the Slanetrac FH80. The Cangini being a 600mm wide cut and the Slanetrac being an 800mm wide. The Cangini we have fitted with the optional floating kit. We'll put it to the test first with this locked off, the same as it would be if you were just had it mounted without this kit. Then we'll pull the pin on it and show you what you can do with this in the floating position. Now, both of these flails come supplied as you see them, hitch bracket to suit your excavator, pair of hydraulic hoses and a pair of quick release couplings, meaning that when you get them it is a simple plug and play setup. Both of them require a single auxiliary hydraulic circuit and no case drain, meaning just two hoses. If your machine has a auxiliary or a breaker circuit, you can just plug it in and go to work. We're going to run both of these on our Komatsu PC26MR-5, a 2.6 ton mini excavator. It should give a good account of both of these flails. Now, both of these can be used on machines from 1.5 ton to 3 ton, so we're obviously near the top end of that scale, which should give you a good idea of how both of them perform. I'll put the technical spec on the screen here for both of these, but both require similar amounts of hydraulic flow, 20 litres a minute minimum for each of them. Of course, the amount of flow will determine just how quickly the drum or the deck actually spins, but 20 litres minimum, which should mean they are compatible with pretty much all 1.5 ton mini excavators up the way. We're going to test both of these units on 4 main categories: build quality, performance, price, and the one question that we get asked every single time we have a discussion about flails is, can you track the machine and cut at the same time? Enough talking, let's go and put both of these units to the test. have it, two attachments that do a very similar job with two completely different methods. Build quality, as you can hopefully tell from the footage and from us using it, we were giving these everything we had, and the build quality from the Slanetrac and the Cangini is what you would expect from two top European attachment manufacturers. The Slanetrac being built in Ireland and the Cangini built in Italy. Both units come with a 1-year warranty as standard, and both use top quality hydraulic motors and components in their build. In my opinion, there is very little to choose between each of those on a build quality perspective. Now, performance, we used both of these tools in the exact same conditions, the exact same material, on the same machine, in the same field, both on the lighter vegetation and on the heavier stuff. Both coped well. I would say potentially on the heavier material, the Cangini had a little bit of an edge, but both tools cleared the light vegetation, the sort of heavy clumpy grass and the heavy trees and bushes as well as you would expect them to. The question that we get asked every single time we have a discussion about excavator mounted flails: can you track and cut at the same time? Now, hopefully we've shown that with both the Cangini with the swinging hammers and the Slanetrac with the spinning blade, both can track and cut at the same time on our PC26. Now, just because you can doesn't always mean you should. No flail attachment on the market for this size excavator is going to give you full maximum performance whilst travelling the machine. That being said, the tasks you would need to be doing while tracking, such as hedge cutting or verge cutting, don't necessarily need full oil flow and max performance and max speed from the flail, and both of these will perform those tasks as you would hope. Of course, once you start to travel, the speed of the drum and the blade in the Slanetrac does come down, but does keep enough speed in order to let you hedge trim or cut verges. Now, both of these units have their strong points. For me, the floating kit on the Cangini is a nice addition, depending on the type of work you're doing. As a little bit horses for courses. Both will do the sort of work that we were doing with them this morning. But the floating kit, if you are doing verge clearance or you're clearing a lot of vegetation down to ground level, the floating kit is worth thinking about. However, that does come with an extra cost. On the subject of cost, the big question, the price difference between the two of these. The Cangini TC1-60, which is this version here, the one we've had out today, is £3,150 plus VAT at the time of recording this video. Its big brother, the 800, which would be the same cut width as the Slanetrac, is £3,300, and the 1 metre, which in my opinion would be perfectly fine on the PC26, especially for the work we were doing today, would give you just a little bit more cut width and a little bit more productivity. It is £3,550. Whilst comparatively the Slanetrac, as you see here, the FH80 model, the 800mm cut width is £2,900 plus the VAT and delivery. All of them coming, like you see here, bracket to suit your machine, hoses and couplers. So value for money, especially when you factor in the floating kit at an extra $295. Value for money, the Slanetrac has to take it. It is cheaper, the build quality is what you would expect from any Slanetrac attachment, and it does perform the majority of jobs you would need to put it to, and it performed everything we done with it today. In my personal opinion, money being no object, it would be the Cangini for me on two grounds. If it was the TC1 and the 100mm and the 1 metre cut and it had the floating bracket, that would be the pick for me for the work we were doing today on the PC26. It would give even wider cut width and it would have the ability to have it fixed or in floating position. That being said, it's hard to argue with the value for money on the Slanetrac. It's just a solid tool. It's built well, it's turned out well, it's a nice looking unit, it's a build quality of all Slanetrac attachments, and it's cheaper than the Cangini. So in conclusion, it's very much horses for courses when it comes to flail attachments and the two different types that we sell. Hopefully this video has been of use to you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of it. If you need any more information on either of these units or any attachments we sell, it's attachmentco.co.uk. For a UK based business, it's attachmentco.com in the US. If you like this video, if you like this sort of style of equipment and attachment reviews and tests, let us know in the comments down below. When you're down there, if you hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow, whatever you do down there, that would be much appreciated. And if there's any other products, any other attachments you see on the website that you want us to make a video on or review or test against each other, let us know down there as well. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.